My name is Nyovani Madise. I work at the African Institute for Development Policy as Director of Research. I'm also Country Director for Malawi. I am one of the 4 authors of the Cochrane Review on Nutrition Interventions for Urban Poor Children. The other authors are Sophie Galde, who is at Loughborough, together with Paula Griffiths and Barry Bogan. The research is really important because it really shows the challenges that urban poor children have. What we tried to do was to look for evidence, to look at interventions that can actually help, reduce or indeed help, I'll use the word cure, but cure is not the right word, stunting in under 5 children in urban poor slums. And stunting is when a child is too short for their age, and this is because of a sort of like chronic undernutrition resulting in children being rather short for their ages. So what we found in this review is that first there were very few studies that have actually done interventions in urban poor settings for under 5 children to reduce stunting. The second thing we found was that of the few studies, we couldn't really see any meaningful interventions that are actually helping to reduce stunting in under 5 children. So there's so many different things you can think about, from that result. It might be that we're not doing enough interventions in the urban poor settings to actually find ones that are effective. It could also be that, there aren't that many interventions, or the interventions that are there, they're not being properly designed to take into consideration the complexity of the urban poor setting. So interventions, indeed, interventions that have been shown to work in some countries and in some parts of, in some places like in rural areas or in also like urban affluent area, they don't seem to be having an effect in the urban poor setting. So this really shows the complexity of the urban poor situation, and to know that in that setting and in that environment, we really need to pay attention to the other contextual factors when we're looking at interventions. And then I need to say something that we found, which is interesting, was that nutrition education seems to have some effect on the weight of the babies when they are born. And this is important because if you're, for example, providing nutrition for pregnant women, not only are they maybe paying attention to what they are eating, so with the pregnant women being healthier and maybe of a good weight and getting good nutrition, there's a much higher likelihood that their children will be born of the right weight, and then also that the infants will be thriving, as they proceed with life. So nutrition education is important for the weights of the babies, but it wasn't significant for stunting. In conclusion, what I can say is that if we are to intervene in stunting of under 5 children in slum settings, we really need to be creative. We really need to think about a multi-sectoral type of intervention that combines a lot of aspects. For example, education, agriculture. We need to think about health. We need to think about infant feeding practices, behaviors, interacting with the children. We need to think about sanitation. We need to think about poverty. We need to think about all of these things, because we understand now that all these things, these contextual factors, play a significant role in influencing child health. So interventions that may work in a rural setting may not work because of all these other factors in the urban poor setting. So a multi-sectoral approach, innovative thinking to actually improve on nutrition of children in the urban poor settings.